Those Days with the Monsters, Part 12. Kirrel woke in the dark to his stomach violently protesting its emptiness. With a sigh he sat up, the reflective backs of his eyes allowing him to see relatively well in the dim light coming off some of the machines. "Hey, spaceman." Kirrel's frills rose, turning slightly lighter as he looked towards the voice. In the dark, a Cuman sat in a chair by the foot of his bed, a hollow pad lighting the area slightly.
"Oh, hello, Sleepy."
Kirrel glanced around the room again. No one else was there.
"Is it your turn to be awake already?"
"If you stayed down much longer, I wouldn't be the one getting called sleepy." He made the Cuman amusement noise, but quietly. "I figured you'd want some food, so I waited for you. Slept like the dead." Kirrel's frills rose slightly, a bit of red coming into them. Not that the Cuman could necessarily see it. Could he? Kirrel wasn't sure how good the Cuman's vision was in the dark.
"What does that mean? Like the dead? Doc didn't seem to think I was in danger."
Sleepy's amusement sounded loud in the dark medbay. "No, it's a saying. It means, well, if someone dies you can't wake him back up. So sleeping like the dead just means it's hard to wake you up."
"Oh."
Kirrel paused for a moment, digesting this information. Finally, and with decisive finality, he spoke.
"You Cumans are far too comfortable with death."
"Well, we do come from, what do you call it, a death world?" That was fair. Kirrel turned his mind away from the Cumans, and it landed very quickly on the next most important thing. Food.
"Is there anything left in the trough? I haven't eaten since, it would be yesterday now, since yesterday morning."
"Ooh, yeah, there should be some. Doc warned me you'd be hungry. I made sure to keep some chicken and taters for you." Kirrel's frills perked up.
"That's potatoes, right?"
"Yeah, I just call them taters 'cause I got hillbilly blood." Kirrel's entire neck turned teal with confusion.
"I don't know what that means, that word you used. The translator doesn't have a word for it."
"What, hillbilly?" Sleepy was trying very hard not to make the Cuman amusement noise. Kirrel noticed. "It means someone who, Kirrel waited patiently for Sleepy to finish his explanation, but it didn't come. Right, food. Come on, you need some food." Kirrel followed, his stomach again protesting its emptiness, but he filed away the word hillbilly to ask Doc or Alex about later. Later, with his mouth full of meat and tubers, Kirrel realised that Sleepy was saying something to him. Hastily, he gulped down the food, his frills purple with embarrassment.
"I'm sorry, Sleepy. What did you say?"
"Well, not trying to pry, man, but, well, Doc told me a little about what you said, and I wanted to make sure you were alright. I mean, you know." He sighed, his face contorting in a way that Kirrel's translator couldn't decipher. "I know what it means to be, well, packless. I think a lot of us do. Hook and Smee have each other, but a lot of us come from wherever, just kind of falling into place on the ship, like we've always been here. I know Doc didn't have anybody for a long time. He just kind of fell apart for a bit and wound up here. Put his coat back on, you know, like people do in movies. Same for a lot of us." Kirrel shrugged.
"I don't know if you really need to be worried about me, honestly. I'm doing a lot better than most rollaways."
"How'd you mean?" Sleepy folded his hands on the table and leaned over them. There wasn't much light, but Kirrel could see that Sleepy's eyes weren't sleepy at all. They were bright and quick.
"Well, I mean, most rollaways don't make it this far. They either leave Rick then, and no one knows what happened to them, or..."
He sighed.
"Well, it's hard to say, really. The ones that stay are always trying to create a pack they can join, but everyone is already bonded. At some point we either leave, or we give up."
"What exactly do you mean, give up? Can you explain that for me?" Kirrel's frills flared a bit, orange and teal pulsing through them. What was with this intense questioning, and on a topic this stressful too? But Sleepy was waiting for an answer, and he didn't want to disappoint Sleepy. Out of everyone, not Sleepy. With a deep breath, his frills slowly darkening to a sad navy, he stared hard at the tabletop and answered.
Well, at some point we just sort of stop. We stop trying to find a pack, and pretty soon we stop trying anything at all. Then we stop eating. Then we just sort of find a place to lay down, turn dark blue, and just give up.
You decided you'd rather leave. Kirrel nodded, hastily gulping down a bite of meat.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if rollaways just give up out here too, or if they keep going. I know there was a lot more change around me, and it was a lot easier to keep going. It was almost like, if this change doesn't do it, maybe the next one will. And when it didn't, then maybe the next one would.
It sounds like you actually need a pack to live. Kirrel shrugged again, hastily gulping down a fluffy tuber. He instantly regretted that he hadn't taken more time to enjoy it, but this was a very uncomfortable conversation, and he'd eaten quickly on impulse.
He
started, but Sleepy wasn't done. You know, humans are the same way, most times. Sometimes you'll get someone fine with being alone for a long time, but even then they'll be needing some contact. Touch, voice, whatever. Holler pads don't cut it most times. Sleepy sighed, settling into his seat slightly. We got a name for it. We call it toxic social isolation. Fancy name, but it works. We get alone for too long, and we don't give up like you do, but we can get real sick. Sleepy made a sound in his throat, an odd one, like there was something stuck in it and he wanted to clear it out. Well, while you look, just let me know if you need anything, you know? Kirrel's frills flushed slightly purple along the spines. He was pretty sure he didn't need any help, but still, this was Sleepy.
Well, sure, I can do that. Happiness.
Spots of teal appeared on Kirrel's frills as the translator interpreted Sleepy's expression. Why would he be suddenly happy? There wasn't anything in Kirrel's response, just awkward agreement. But then again, the translator was glitching. Kirrel thought for a moment, then decided it was probably another glitch. Anyway, eat up, spaceman. Hook's got a lot of work for you, so get some strength back. And then you should go back to sleep. Even the captain wakes up more easily than you did, and I know you don't sleep that long normally. Kirrel nodded. That was probably fair. And,
thanks, Sleepy.
Don't mention it. Thanks for listening to episode 12. This week there will be an extra bonus video. Not from HFY, but hopefully something that you'll enjoy.